Hello, I am Dr. Farshad Amini Behbani and this is short course of Iranian traditional medicine. In this section we discuss about the causes of dryness and wetness. Wetness shows itself by softness and flexibility. Stillness or less movement or sleep bring wetness. You remember why from previous sections. Eating too much food cause wetness. You remember from previous sections by producing more phlegm humor, that is a wet and cold humor. Retention of waste cause wetness. You remember from previous sections because wastes mostly have wet temperament or track toward them the water of the body. For example, in weakness of natural spirit, in weakness of the liver, we have pitting edema because the wastes of digestion number 4 at the end organ is weak in expulsive faculty because the weakness of the liver as a supporter. So the wastes remain in the foot, in the leg, or in all of the body and absorb the water toward them. Expulsion or exiting of dry humors. I mean yellow bile and black bile, or melancholic humor, another name. By exiting dry humors, wet humors, I mean sanguine and phlegm, show their nature, show their effects. And wet temperament or wetness or wet distemperament will be a consequence. Wet temperamental foods like lettuce, like cucumber, like milk, and those foods that produce considerable amount of wet humors, like wine and meat that produce a lot of sanguine humor, cause wetness. And wet medication like violet oil that turns the temperament of the body after contacting with the innate heat of the body toward wetness. And contacting with wet agents. It could be water, it could be air, it could be foods. I mean watery foods like soup, eating soup, or milk as both watery food and wet temperamental food cause wetness. Or living in wet air in cities near the sea, in islands, in cities near the river. But remember, contacting with the sea, with salt water, or swimming in them, or spraying the sea water that contains salt as a dry and warm temperamental medication cause dryness of the skin. You can see it in baywatches. Of course, they are in contact with the sun, but even if they sit in a shadow, they receive dryness. Let's continue with the cause of wetness. Contact with cold agent. Coldness keep the moisture, keep the water of the body, prevent sweating, and cause wetness cause wet temperament or wet distemperament sometimes. And mild warmness by helping flowing of the moisture of the body, helping flowing of the blood, cause wetness. You can see it in those with warm intrinsic temperament. If you examine their skin, you find softness and flexibility. That's because of mild or normal warmness. If their temperament, their intrinsic temperament, move toward the border of territory of health temperament and become distemperament or near distemperament, dryness of the skin or losing flexibility of the skin will be a consequence, will be a sign for us to alert, to manage this movement. Dryness shows itself with coarseness and dry skin, dry hair, or dry thinking, even dry movement, clicking of the joint, for example. It depends that you talk about dry intrinsic temperament or dry distemperament. I will explain the signs of distemperaments in future sections. Causes of dryness include movement. You remember it's why from exercise section, especially in the joint. Too much exercise causes dry distemperament of the joint, and of course is a treatment of wet distemperamental joint. Wakefulness at the night is a common cause of dryness. You can see in the face of those people who work in the night, for example, the nurses that have shifts, that have night shifts, by tenderness of the muscles of the face, for example, by dryness of the eye, by eye pitting, or maybe dryness of the hair, dryness of the skin, if they do not manage the night shift, if they do not use the character of the night shifts. And other people for other reasons may have a sleepover at the night. Too much expulsion. Usually wastes have waste temperament, and too much expulsion of them cause dryness. Also, humors, I mean wet humors, if we expel it, they exit, cause dry temperament, or cause dry humors show their appearance, show their effects. You should notice too this sign as an alert sign in venesection, for example, in wet cupping, by exiting too much sanguine humor, too much blood, you can cause dryness. Too much intercourse can cause dryness. Intercourse is combination of expulsion and exercise. Both of them cause dryness. Because in intercourse, the moisture will be lost from two sexes. No difference. It brings for men and women dryness. Starving or consuming little food by preventing production of enough sanguine humor cause dryness. Also, consuming dry food, dry temperamental food like vinegar or those foods that can produce more melancholic humor like eggplant or more yellow bile like dates in fourth climate area, not in other areas, can cause dryness. Contacting with dry agents, for example, living in a desert with dry air, or swimming in astringent mineral water that has dry astringent effect on the skin and cause dryness. Absorb the moisture of the body to themselves. And dry actual foods like chips, like crushed thin bread that we use it to correct the oily food in Iranian traditional medicine. Using this dry food can cause dryness, especially in the stomach, and also can treat dry distemperament of the stomach. And dry medications. Salt and pepper are most common spices and medications, and dry medication that in too much consumption can cause dryness. And freezing coldness. You remember in wet causes that a normal cold can cause wetness, but freezing coldness brings dryness. You experience that in winter or in snow by cooling your hands. Sometimes you experience dryness of skin and even sometimes crack in your skin. It's a sign of dryness of the skin. Too much warmness, like fire that cause drying or cause dust. Too much warmness can cause dryness. You remember it from the signs that alert us too much heat in warm intrinsic temperament as a sign of becoming disease, become ill. And too much psychological movement, like too much joy, too much worries, too much fear, no matter, because they are movement, and if you remember, any movement can cause dryness. Remember that also you can use causes of a quality to treat its opposite quality, but in what costs? You can prescribe too much eating for a dry distemperament, but the phlegmatic distemperament will be consequence. So when you choose causes of a quality, you should consider side effects.